There's a disturbing trend that has been revealed amongst some of the, how should we say, more centrist people running for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020. And that is that three of them, at least, have taken money from Donald and or Ivanka Trump. One of the most glaringly obvious and disturbing cases is Kamala Harris. According to a new report, Kamala Harris, over the span of several years, took $6,000 from both Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump. $6,000 combined. It was given over the span of several years. She also took a few $1,000s from Steve Mnuchin, the man who she was supposed to prosecute and put in jail, but made the decision not to, and he rewarded her by giving her a few $1,000s for her campaign. Cory Booker was the recipient of a fundraiser held for him by Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. They held a fundraiser in New Jersey for Cory Booker. And then, for really no obvious reason at all, the Trump family also gave money to Kirsten Gillibrand, who represents a state that the Trumps really don't have much business in. So this all begs the question, why was the Trump family giving these Democrats fundraisers? Why were they giving them money? We know why Steve Mnuchin gave money. He didn't want to go to jail, and now he's the Secretary of the Treasury. But to me, it's also very telling about what the Trump family saw with regards to these particular politicians. They saw these as people who were not going to raise their taxes, who would not increase regulations on their businesses, and who would essentially rule for the billionaire class. That should give us all cause for concern. And I know most of these people have given the money away to nonprofits. Of course, that only happened several years after they took the money, years after they took the money. And then they realized, oh, Trump's a bad guy and everybody hates him. Let's donate the amount that they gave us to a nonprofit. Doesn't work. Doesn't absolve you from taking this jackass's money. Three more people who are on the fence about whether or not to run in 2020 have also received money from the Trump family. Joe Biden, John Kerry, and Terry McAuliffe. They have all received several $1,000s apiece from the Trump family. This is a problem. This is something that these candidates and potential candidates, should they choose to run, they're going to have to answer for this. And the answer cannot just be, well, I ended up giving the money to a nonprofit many years after they gave it to me. That doesn't cut it. That's not a viable excuse. Why did you accept the money in the first place? And more importantly, why did they feel it necessary to give you this money? What did they want from you? Or what did they think you were going to give them? This is bad for these candidates, and they have a lot of explaining to do. And I can promise you, I don't think any of them are going to give us any kind of answer that's going to make us feel better about them running for president. This is the first major red flag that we have gotten from all three of these candidates. The first major one. Now, we've seen bad things in their history, but since they've been running for president, everybody seems to kind of be on the up and up. Well, we're super progressive. But now this, the first time since all of them have announced that they've got this big red flag. And for me, this might be a red flag that I think is impossible to get past. One of today's video sponsors is Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire. Blinkist.com is a website, an app that actually takes nonfiction books and condenses them into very short reads or 15-minute audiobooks. The first 100 users right now who go to Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire are going to get a 7-day free trial. That's 7 days to browse through Blinkist's entire library and download, read however many you want during that free trial period. And then after that, using that Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire link that's in the description of this video, you'll get 25% off your membership. Here's what's so great about this. You can listen to a 15-minute audiobook on your way to work. And Blinkist.com condenses these, takes the key points, the vital information that you need to know. and gives it to you in this easily digestible format. It's perfect, especially in my line of work when I have to go through books at breakneck speed just to be able to get the information. Blinkist.com does it for you and delivers it to you in these very quick and easy links. Here's the thing. Only the first 100 users are going to get that 7-day free trial, so make sure you click on that link to sign up. Blinkist.com/ringofire.